folks, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natasha and I do book things here. So as you can tell from the title down below, this is going to be my worst books of 2017 that I read. Of course, these are not books necessarily released in 2017. I'm gonna say that in like all of these videos. These are just books that I personally read this year that I think are the worst. I originally was going to do like my top 7 worst books. I really only have 3 though that are truly like the creme de la creme of shit, and so I am going to talk about those. I'm fully aware that this video is going to get like instantly demonetized, so we're just gonna let the opinions roll today. So if you've been watching all my videos, these really should come as no surprise, except for maybe one that I haven't talked about yet, which honestly just catapulted itself right to the worst book that I have read this year, and possibly the worst book that I've read ever. It just feels so good to just say, these are the books I hated this year, say goodbye to them, and never talk about them ever again. These are the only 3 books that I gave 1 star, which is surprising because I feel like I didn't like a lot of books, but I only like really hated 3. So the first one on that list is The Juliet Society by Sasha Grey. Oh boy. So for those of you who might not be aware, Sasha Grey is an ex-adult film star, and she decided to try her hand at writing. And I saw this at Value Village. I didn't pay any more than like $3 for it, so I don't feel that upset by that. Wait a second. Sasha Grey wrote a book? I had to get it and at the very least like soothe my curiosity about like what it is that she could write. Naturally, it's erotica. Like, let's get real. When the girl's done as much adult work as she has, it's natural that she writes erotica. Here's the thing though, if she were to just write a 300-page book of just erotica and have it just be like, you know, sex scene after sex scene, fine. But it's the fact that she tried to make it interesting. She tried to put a plot in there. There's, you know, there's some storyline, and it's literally the most pretentious thing I've ever read. It follows the girl, who knows what her name is, Catherine. She is a film student and she's also getting into this like weird sex club with these like weird older men and like her professor and blah blah blah. It's extreme sex scene after extreme sex scene followed by pretentious film quotes and like these, she's supposed to be this like deep person and she's just not. It was bad. It was just bad, and to be honest, like, I skimmed through it. I couldn't tell you one thing about the plot, obviously. I just checked the back to go, oh yeah, what is that about? But even the sex scenes coming from, you know, the mind of an adult film star who like knows the industry, has worked in that industry, the sex scenes themselves are written very much like porn and they're just there for like the shock value, I feel like. There's one scene in particular that I talked about where they're doing their thing on like a kitchen counter, and at some point they knock over a spice rack and like spices end up in different orifices. And like, no, like I don't want to read that. Like, I'm not against erotica. Like, hello, hi, I'm me, I'm not. I'm not against like BDSM, I'm not against like any of the subjects in this book or any sex scenes in general, but like there comes a point where you're like, don't need that in my life, and that was this book. Like, here's the thing, erotica and like romance sexy time books typically don't get a high rating from me anyway, but the fact that this one is like so poorly written and there's like no redeeming qualities about it whatsoever, there's no point of this. And I come to find out that like this is a trilogy, I think. Like, there's I think at least one more other book, maybe a duology, but there's like another bunch of books following this, and I'm like, where could this possibly go from this? Like, there's, no one needs more of this. Not good. Do not like. Farewell. The next book, again, no surprise because I've ranted about it a little bit on my channel, and that is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. Oh, there's so many words that I have for this book that I really don't want to offend people, because people like Colleen Hoover, I understand it. She does have good ideas when it comes to like contemporary romance. Like there's a good idea in this, like I can give her that. Like it's about a couple, they meet and they decide once a year that they're going to meet on the same day that they met, and sort of how that unfolds and blah blah blah. Great, I like that. That's a wonderful idea. That's what originally drew me to this book, and the fact that people are like, this is amazing, 5 stars. So I read it, and literally like at page 24 I was angry, where the main love interest, Ben, I've talked about him before, he's just a piece of shit. Like he's such an asshole, and it's like, it worries me that people are reading this book and thinking that this is a healthy relationship. Like, I think that that's what makes this book a 1-star book for me. Considered getting rid of this book, and I don't even want to get rid of it. Like, I want to, like, I don't even want to say it. I want to literally just put this in the trash so that no one else reads this. To me, this is just such an unhealthy relationship. Here's the thing, I'm totally fine reading unhealthy relationships in book if the book sets it up like that. This is supposed to be a romance, and like at no point does the main character go, this guy's an ass. You know, at no point is his motives or what he does is ever questioned by anybody. He doesn't question it himself, she doesn't question it, blah blah blah, love story. And I'm like, no, like this is not okay. Like he's just advancing on her and she feels uncomfortable. They're back in their apartment after meeting like 2 seconds ago. He like orders her to wear this dress that she feels uncomfortable in because he's paying for dinner, and so he gets to decide what he looks at while like, fuck that. Like, oh my god, so irritating. It's just like little manipulations like that where, like, listen, I'm in a healthy relationship, and let me just tell you, if my husband did like 2% of like the shitty things that this guy does in this book, he'd be on the street like now. Like, just bye, don't need that kind of crap in my life. You know, people are reading this thinking that it's a love story and then end up in real life situations where people do shit like this and they think that it's romantic. It's not. It's like emotional abuse. It's not cute. You know, he's just manipulative and just an asshole, and I truly just don't understand how and why people like this book. If you like this book, please let me know why. I personally cannot get past that. I understand the story and like they meet up and blah blah blah. Like it's just I can't even make like I can't even express words of how much this book angered me. So yeah, this was a 1-star book. I will not be reading any more Colleen Hoover. I've heard, you know, since talking about this, just some problematic shit that she has in her books, and I don't need that in my life. And I mean, sure, I might pick up one of her books if I feel like getting really fucking angry at something. Now, no, like I'm over it. And yeah, I get really mad every time I see this book as like a featured book on like a book website that sells books. I'm just like, nope. So the last book in my worst book of the year is one that I read this month, and as I mentioned, as much as I don't like those other two, this one takes the cake as literally the worst thing I've ever read, in that it makes no sense. No sense. 0 sense. And this is a book that you read and you go, 1, why was this ever written? It proves no point. It tells no like interesting story. Like, at least with erotica, you're like, all right, there's some erotica, some sexy time, might get, you know, some stuff flowing. Great, fantastic. With Colleen Hoover, you go, well, at least she tried. There's an interesting like plot kind of thing going on there. But this book that I'm about to show you is, oh man, the words just want to come out of me. This is literally a book where I go, why was this ever written? There's no point. There's no point to this whatsoever. And it angers me that this was actually picked up by a publisher, and the book that I'm talking about is Hot Pterodactyl Boyfriend. This oh, this is the worst thing ever had. Why was this made? Okay, like, here's the thing. I didn't go into this thinking that it was going to be a great book, okay? I didn't think that it was going to be groundbreaking. I didn't think, oh, this is going to be a 5-star read. I mentioned in my video where I hauled this that this had a 2.2 overall rating on Goodreads. I definitely rated it a 1 because it is just, it's brutal. Okay, so this book, what is this about? Well, let's see. It is literally about a boy who is a pterodactyl, and he's not humanoid in any sense. He's literally just a pterodactyl. He flies down into like a high school football field, and instantly all of the people, all the girls, the guys, everyone is instantly in love with him. The principal is just okay with the fact that they now have a prehistoric student body or some shit. Oh, what did I even read? Then this one girl who the story kind of follows is in love with him and is trying to protect him from like reporters and make sure that no one bullies the poor pterodactyl boy, who apparently can somehow speak a little bit of English. And it follows basically at some point there's like a school dance. He plays, oh, he's in a rock band. He plays this like screeching pterodactyl song, and then everybody turns into like earthworms and are having like an orgy in the school gym, and then the main character has pterodactyl beak sex with him and then gets like marked by this pterodactyl boy and then grows this like purple pterodactyl nose along with another girl who's also had pterodactyl sex with him. It makes no sense. The book makes no sense. Okay. That I would like to add, the stuff that I just talked about is not even a spoiler because this has no point. No one should read this. This is so stupid. It's like, listen, I try to take something out of everything that I read. I got nothing out of this. Nothing. Not one thing. Not anything. The part that I just told you was literally the first like 50 pages, and then the rest is more of the same like what the fuck kind of shit is going on. I don't even know. That aside, given that the book talks about nothing, the writing is literally the worst writing I've ever read. Ever. And it hurts me because this guy apparently is like from my area, he's Canadian, and I saw like one Goodreads review that said, oh, maybe this is just the way that like Canadian writers write. No. No, that's not the case at all. Like, let's put it this way, the only way that like I personally could have ever written this book is if I was like extremely high on drugs, like just crazy high on drugs, and decided to just write a stream of consciousness. Like there's no, you're reading it and it doesn't even flow right. It does, like the sentence structure doesn't even make sense. Paragraphs don't make sense. It like hops from like, she's doing this and this and this, and then now she's over here, and then she's doing this, and then oh, that pterodactyl sex, and then like like what? Can't talk about my worst books in any sort of like constructive way. It's just bad, okay? I don't recommend this to anyone. In the event that you find this and this is like 5 cents, get it and read the first like 50 pages and know what I'm talking about. Please just know that like this is such a waste of your time. There's so many other beautiful books that you could be reading that isn't Hot Pterodactyl Boyfriend that, you know, you should read those. Basically. Actually, you know what? You should read Colleen Hoover's November 9 before you read this. You should read The Juliet Society by Sasha Grey before you ever read this. A flaming pile of garbage. This is literally the worst book that I read in 2017. It gets like a little like clap. Congratulations, Hot Pterodactyl Boyfriend, you win the award. I was gonna donate it and get some like money back for it to like have a coffee. It would be like the guiltiest coffee ever knowing that someone eventually is going to buy that book. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. Those are the 3 worst books that I've read in 2017. Yep, I can't wait to talk about books I like now because that was like just a release of all the things that I needed to like get off my chest, and I hope to never see or talk about those books ever again. They might go back up on my shelves just as a reminder that there's bad things in the world. So yeah, those are my 3 worst books of 2017. I do hope you guys liked this video. If you've read any of those, let me know, especially if you've read Hot Pterodactyl Boyfriend. Please, if you've read that, talk to me about it. Because like no one else I know has read it, but like it's just, oh boy, it's a bad one. And yeah, I do hope you guys are doing good, and until my next video, I will talk to all of you soon. Bye!